All right, so we are interviewing another one of our POW conference presenters and sponsors. So this is Will Compton, and he is an expert in offshore staffing, and he'll kind of explain what that means. But he's somebody that I know through other professional circles. He's highly regarded, so much so that we're in our early stages of bringing somebody on through Will's company as well to help with our scheduling, overflow, that kind of stuff. So, Will Compton, tell me who you are and what your company is, and how in the world does somebody end up in the offshore staffing business?
Thanks, Ken. Great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. We're looking forward to being at the conference with all the great attendees. Ken, the offshore staffing business is really simplified like this. We're in the headache removal business. So when employers are having trouble plugging holes in their staffing, for whatever reason that may be, high turnover, cost pressures, lack of skill in the area, we're typically an outlet for that.
Hmm.
But we will share a little bit more, of course, during our presentation. How does someone get into this field, Ken, after 20 years in a profession widely outside of this realm? The most common feedback we always heard was we can't find great people. So we
Uh,
decided to do something about it and build a company around finding great people.
that's amazing. So one Workforce Global is the company. How many offshore staff do you guys currently have?
Yeah, we have just shy of 2,000 employees,
Okay.
primarily in the Philippines. We have multiple offices over there with a sizable U.S. staff as well that oversees our clients and relationships. But again, about 2,000 folks in the Philippines.
Okay. So we got you for an hour at the POW conference speaking, and then you're also going to do kind of a Q&A on our demo day. Your topic for speaking is From Hiring to High Performance, a practical guide to offshore staffing. So tell me what somebody's going to hear when they come and see you speak on this.
Sure. Yeah, our goal is to be educational in nature. We want folks to remove the fear, the unknown of what does it mean to offshore
Hmm.
versus outsourcing versus remote staffing. Lots of terminology thrown around in our industry. We want to unpackage that, share a little bit more about what that means, both the pros, the cons, the warts, all the things that revolve around this, but also ultimately how to make this a success if it's something folks are considering.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I know it's one of the hot topics in our industry right now. So in our industry, we are a labor heavy industry. The clinical side of it is the big piece, but the KPI that we're focusing on heavily right now with everybody we coach and consult with, and we run some peer groups in the industry, is this admin cost per session, right?
Hmm.
It's one of the few things that we can maybe find some more EBITDA, some more profit on. So I know everybody's going to be intrigued by this, but then also one of the big things that they immediately pump the brakes on is what about HIPAA? I think there's all this fear of overseas and identity theft. And tell me, one, do you guys work within a HIPAA compliant environment? Is How do you manage that? Is it a worry that you've been able to mitigate?
Great question and a very fair one. So to start, of course, we're HIPAA compliant. We would not
Mhm.
be in business if we were not. We would not be trusted by other partners if we were not HIPAA compliant. Really, Ken, the best way we try to mitigate this is our folks are an extension of our clients' teams. And
Okay.
really what that means is we take it to another level where our team members are functioning in the ecosystem within the servers,
Uh,
passwords, emails that are all dedicated to our clients. So under no circumstances do our clients lose the visibility of any type of security. There's no storing of data. We don't keep data on our side. Again, we're operating within the ecosystem of our clients to help mitigate that security question.
so as opposed to a call center where it may be the employee of the day that's answering the phone that we've never met, that could be revolving door. This is literally you're trying to set somebody up that we're going to know by first name basis, and they're part of the team and might even attend our staff meetings and all that kind of stuff, but in a lower cost structure.
That is what an ultimate win looks like right there, Ken. An
Mm.
extension of someone's team, just like you said, drinking the coffee cups that are branded to the client, wearing the t-shirts, understanding the culture, and then providing a really high quality ROI as well. So when you can marry all that together, that's ultimately what a win looks like.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's very different than I think a lot of people listening to this would conceive of this. That also feels like a lot higher level of control. And by the way, we've done this before, just with domestic call centers, and they
Hmm.
can't pronounce our company name right to save their life or whatever. This is somebody that would actually know our cultural values, and we would grow them as part of the team. So.
100%. Yep. Exclusively dedicated to our clients' teams. At no circumstances do they jump around. 100% exclusive.
Now, I know there's a lot of variables in there, but the next thing is always going to be cost. Is this a real cost saver? Is how does that work? What can somebody expect to experience with a staff person in the Philippines or wherever versus, Phoenix, Arizona?
Sure. And of course, it does vary by role, but a great benchmark, Ken, is roughly 60 to 70% cost savings realized when you
Wow.
add in salary and benefits and all the overhead we have to bear here in the US
Hmm.
versus an offshore option. So roughly 60 to 70%, which I know is an eye-catching number, but that I will add that's without sacrificing quality because low cost and low quality don't work. So it's got to be low cost with high quality, and that's really the attempt in what we're doing here.
So that's 60 to 70% of the cost or 60 to 70% off the cost?
Off the
Oh,
cost,
wow. Okay.
right? So if you're
So
paying a dollar, you could expect to save 60% off of that dollar, roughly.
$40,000 a year scheduler might cost you 16 to 18,000, something
You've
like
got
that.
it. You've got it,
Wow.
Ken.
Okay. Yeah,
That's the idea.
that's a game changer, Will. So I know a lot of people are intrigued by this, and then probably that analysis paralysis sets in. I mean, it's hard enough to hire one person locally and commit the budget and all that. If somebody's intrigued by this, especially if they have, multiple schedulers, billers, what I mean, there might be some redundant staff. What's the first step? If they're not at PAL conference and can't hear you, what should they ask themselves first? What should they analyze first? They're going to sit down with you. What numbers should they bring?
Sure. Well, we always start with the end in mind, meaning what does it look like to be successful in a partnership? Is it cost
Mhm.
pressures or is it lack of staffing, skills, et cetera, like I mentioned early on? So really understanding what a win looks like, Ken, is where we always start with. And we also always suggest to start small,
Mhm.
right? Dip your toes in the water, understand what it looks like, maybe pick one particular role that is a pain point, explore it a little bit more, understand what candidate profiles look like, what does a plus team member look like offshore, and start small. We never want to come into a relationship and scale too quickly because we want it to work before there's growth.
I love that. Okay. So we're going to have you at PAL conference. Excited about that. You'll be presenting on this, also doing a Q&A. If somebody wants to have a conversation with Will sooner than that, or they don't come to that, what's the easiest way to get a hold of you or one of your team to explore this?
Sure, look us up online, right? Oneworkforceglobal.com is a great way to reach us. That's, again, just very easy to get a hold of us there. We'd be happy to talk to folks, understand what their pain points could be, and share if we're the right answer. And if not, we can probably point folks in other directions as well.
I love it. Awesome. Will, very excited to see you in a few weeks at PAL conference. Very excited to see what you're going to do for my company. We've got over, $2 million in admin staffing costs. So there's definitely some room for some savings there. Thanks for being willing to do this. Thanks for sponsoring PAL conference. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
We're looking forward to it, Ken. Thanks for the opportunity.
You bet.